So how would we go about the process? Nick's really excited to be here. How would we go about the process of calculating how much it costs to make one cookie? Because remember, we're answering that question, how much does it cost? And we're going to be concerned about how much does it cost to make one cookie. How would you do that? Yeah, total cost of all these ingredients in the batch, divide by number of cookies made. Because if you make big cookies, you're going to get a different answer than if you make small cookies, which makes sense, right? And so that's how we calculate cost using job order costing. We take job dollars, or job cost, and we divide it by number of units, and that equals cost per cookie, right? That's not quite how we should say it. I mean, technically it's cost per unit, right? But since we were just talking about cookies, it's kind of fun to put cost per cookie on the board. And that's how you go about doing it, okay? For homogeneous, let's talk about homogeneous products now, okay? You ready? Homogeneous products. Oh, you're not quite ready? But are you ready? For I'm not at the video person. I'm at the person immediately in front of the video person. You're good. Okay. Whew. I think I'm a source of stress for our video person, unfortunately. And I don't really intend to be. I'm so very sorry. But Ryan, I was forgetting Ryan's name. There we go. I was forgetting Ryan's name. Okay. Ryan, you ready? You're good? Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of homogeneous products. How about bottled water? Does that sound pretty homogeneous? Yes. Okay, same thing, over and over and over again. Bricks could be the same thing. Paint could be the same thing, particularly since really, when in the paint manufacturing process, they're manufacturing lots of basically base, and they, at most paint stores, they don't add the color until you actually get to the store. I think it's my worst example. I have soda here on my list. Gesundheit. I have soda on my list. Really, I think I keep it on the list only because it's the source of a really good joke. Well, actually, a very mediocre joke, but it's about as good as it gets, in the course of the semester. Because anybody here from Texas? Well, actually, what do you all, who's a soda person here? They would call that beverage soda, kind of most naturally. I'm going to the store to buy a soda. What are you? What would you call it? You're going to go to the store and buy what? Pop. That's what I am. I'm a pop person. I'm going to the store to buy a pop. What are you? Soda. You didn't raise your hand. Okay. What do they call it in Texas? Coke. It's all Coke. Coke is the generic word for pop or soda. So you could theoretically go to a restaurant and say, I'd like a Coke, please. To the restaurant, to the waitress. And then the waitress, says, well, what kind of Coke would you like? I would like a Pepsi. I mean, that's a legitimate conversation. Of course, in Texas, most people don't like Pepsi. They like Coke instead. But nonetheless, that is kind of a theoretical conversation. You never thought of that before, had you?
I have a question.
What?
How come paint's over here is that when you go to the store, you get the color made for you?
Well, I'm thinking about the big cans of stuff, kind of the cans of stuff. You're right. That's a good question. It depends on for whom we're thinking about the cost. And it's easier to think of examples for distinct products than it is for. But I'm thinking about it in terms of cost of making the gallon and 5-gallon cans of paint. That's what I'm thinking about. And it's the best examples. Let me tell you, the best examples: bricks, bottled water, and one I haven't told you yet, but I'm about to. I'm fixing to, as they would say in Texas. An oil refinery. An oil refinery. Because an oil refinery is a big production facility that does one thing, and one thing only. It takes crude oil and turns it into stuff that you all can consume, primarily gasoline. Okay? And costs there are going to be calculated just a little different. Department costs divided by number of units equals cost per unit. So here, I mean, the primary difference is With job order costing, we accumulate cost by job and then divide by number of units to calculate cost per unit. For process costing, we don't accumulate cost per job because jobs don't exist in product costing. We instead accumulate cost by department. Number of units equals cost per unit. And this is the most simple calculation of all of them. This is the most simple one. And really, I've taught you enough right here to get started on the process costing is one of the things that you're going to do. In fact, that little case right there is asking you to calculate costs using all three methods. It asks you to calculate costs using all three methods. And so the first one you can absolutely get started on after today, process costing, okay? Questions, comments, concerns, random thoughts? Whew. Am I going too fast? Am I going too fast? Evan, how are you doing? You awake? Tyson? Okay. Peter? Egg yolk yummies, if you would please. Egg yolk yummies. Doesn't that sound yummy? Egg yolk yummies. Egg yolk yummies. It doesn't sound yummy?
Sounds absolutely disgusting.
It sounds absolutely disgusting. This is Whitney, who really likes pulling punches and kind of just has a hard time saying what she really feels and thinks. Egg yolk yummies manufactures hard yellow candies. The company's production process is largely automated, and the company incurs monthly expenses of $25,000 for depreciation and factory leases. In addition, January 1st, 1999, Egg Yolk paid $48,000 for fire insurance covering the entire production facility for the months of January 1st through December 31st, 1999. Also, Egg Yolk paid $36,000 on December 15th to maintain and refurbish the production machines and facilities. Required when calculating monthly net income, how much manufacturing overhead expense should Egg Yolk Yummies use for each of the months January through December 1999. And so recognize there are conceptually there's three numbers to deal with. That $25,000, the $48,000, and the $36,000. Recognize these are all overhead costs of various and sundry sorts. And I want you to take a couple of minutes and think about those numbers and think about how you would assign costs to those 12 months, okay? Go. And you can keep rolling if you want. It won't be very long. Because this will give our viewing audience a similar opportunity if they're looking at this, if they're watching this for the first time. If they're one of the several people that missed class today and happen to be watching this video, then this also gives them an opportunity to do the same exercise.